and turn the attention inward. Even though we didn't ask for anything in particular, I want you to think about how you want to feel when the class is done. Allow yourself to take up a little more space sitting taller. Allow your shoulders to relax a bit more. And then notice your breathing. Now on your next exhale, let's begin to lower the chin toward the chest. Let's let it rest there close to the chest or on the chest at first. And then on the inhale, we're going to lift our head up, lift it above level, lift the chin up. And then on the exhale, let's lower the chin down. So just start to move through a little flexion and extension of the spine, noticing how your spine feels. Make sure your movement stays really gentle to start with. You can always make it deeper as you move along. Just make sure we're not forcing or pushing. Inhale and exhale. So one more time, inhale. Allow yourself to draw those shoulders back. Maybe move your hands back behind you, very heart opening. A little bit of a back bend here. And then on the exhale, we're going to sweep our hands forward, bring them toward the knees, round your mid back out a bit. Excuse me, slide your hands in close to your hip flexors, lean forward. Now you're going to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of the legs and the glutes and low back. You might put your hands down in front. You could slide them out and come down onto your forearms if you like. And continue with your breathing, inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. Let's walk our hands over to the right, and as we do, notice how that feels in the left side body. Hands come back to center, walk your hands to the left, and notice how the right side of your body feels. And breathe. And then let's bring our hands back to center, walk your hands in, and then lift your shoulders up by your ears, squeeze the shoulders together and back. Let your hands come down behind you. Work your hands in close. Notice how this feels. And breathe. Now, let's keep your right hand where it's at. Bring your left hand over to your right knee, coming into a seated spinal twist. Decide if you'd like to slide that hand in closer to your hip. Make sure your neck is nice and neutral, shoulders relaxed. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring your left hand behind you. Bring your right hand over to the left leg. Sit up nice and tall as you move into another seated spinal twist. Again, slide the hand closer to the hip for a slightly deeper twist. Let's come back to center. Last little warm up we'll do is our hip circles. Allow yourself to bring your attention into your hips. Place your hands there if that helps you to stay focused. Lean to the right. And then lean towards your right knee. Come to the center. Over to the left knee. And back to center. Now you can make those circles smaller. Make sure that we're feeling the movement in our hips. And breathe. You can always modify this and make it more gentle, or you can make it more expansive if you choose. We'll do one more circle in this direction. And then when you come back to center, let's pause. Now you can switch to cross the legs if you like as we make some circles in the opposite direction. Take your time and notice how this feels. And breathe. And it may feel different moving in one direction or the other, so allow yourself to be aware, modify if necessary. Now, when we come back to center, let's go ahead and pause, find our way into a tabletop position. Wrists directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And again, this is just a starting point, and just pay attention to how your back feels. Let's engage those muscles a little bit more fully. And then lift your gaze up, look forward, let the center of your spine drop down toward the mat, tailbone tilts up. So we're creating a U shape in our spine. Notice how that feels. And then in the exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw your chin to your chest, lift the center of your spine up. So we can flow through this if you like, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Now let's come back to neutral. Take our right leg back behind us, tuck your toes, level your hips. Notice how that feels as you press back through the heel. You get a nice stretch in the foot and the back of the leg there. You might extend your left arm, thumb toward the ceiling, lift your right leg up, spinal balance, and breathe. Now set your left hand down. Take your right leg, cross over the left. That's going to allow you to stretch your right hip, flex the foot and press through the heel so that you get a nice stretch through the back of the knee. Look over your left shoulder at that right foot. That brings you into a nice lateral flexion of your spine. And then bring your right leg back to center. Step the right leg forward and through. Place the foot on the mat. Let's put our hands on the inside of that right foot and ease our hips back and forward. Let's move through this in a way that feels comfortable to you. So it can be a very small movement. You want to make sure to protect that knee. And then notice that you're actually moving your ankles, knees, hips, hamstrings, and quadriceps. And breathe. Now you might put that left hand across in the right foot, right hand on your right knee, turn your torso to the right, lift your right arm up. A modified twisted low lunge, not very challenging necessarily, but it is a good twist of the spine. Now you can tuck your toes on your left leg, come off that kneecap if you like, and breathe. So this is going to give you more of an engagement in that left leg, and a stretch to the back of the leg. And then put your right hand down on your right knee, set the left knee down. We're going to press into that right knee and come up. Let's bring our body over our left hip and adjust this right foot so you have a little more stability. You can create greater distance between the right foot and the left knee, but also bring that right foot in closer to your body so your knee is directly over your ankle. Let's lift your arms up overhead, palms facing each other, modified warrior one. Maybe you interlace the fingers. Draw your arms back behind you if you want to open through the shoulders. Keep your gaze forward for stability or look up toward the ceiling to challenge your balance a bit more. And it also gives you a nice deeper stretch in your left hip flexor. And then we're going to go ahead and lower the hands back down. Separate your hands, bring them behind your back, interlace your fingers. We might hinge forward to a flat back. Right shoulder to the inside of that right knee. Lift those arms up. Humble warrior. And then let's put our hands down on the inside of that foot. And then let's consider angling the right toes out. Tuck the toes on the left leg, come off your left kneecap, sliding that leg back. Now you're in a lizard pose here. Staying right here is going to give you a good stretch in the left hip. You're also getting compression in your right knee, hip, and ankle. You can come all the way down into your forearms if you like for a deeper version of lizard. So that's going to be a lot more intense in that right hip. And breathe. You might decide to put your right hand on your right knee. Roll the right knee out if you like. Lift your right arm up, wing dragon. And breathe. And then let's put your right hand down. Press into the hands, walk both hands back in. Bring your right knee back to meet your left. And once again, we're back to tabletop. And again, from here, take a minute. Engage your spine fully. And tuck the toes on the left leg. Extend it back. Press through the heel. So this is going to help with nice stretch in the back of the legs and leveling the hips. You can extend your right arm out, thumb toward the ceiling. You can lift that left leg up, spinal balance. Maybe put that right hand down, let the left leg cross over. Tuck your toes, press through the heel, stretching your left hip. Look over your right shoulder at your left foot for a deeper lateral flexion of your spine. And then bring the left leg back to center. Step the left leg forward and through. Place your right hand across from that left foot, left hand on your left knee, turn your torso toward the left knee. Gentle, modified, twisted, low lunge. Lift the left arm up if you choose. Again, you might tuck your toes on that right leg, come off your kneecap, and breathe. A little bit more of an engaged, twisted low lunge. Now left comes down, right knee comes down to the mat. Press into that left knee as you come up. Adjust that left foot to where it feels more stable for you. Let your arms relax. Decide if you want to lift the arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Interlace your fingers. Draw your hands back behind you if you like. Keep your gaze forward. Maybe decide to lift your gaze up and take a deeper back bend here and breathe. And then we're going to go ahead, lower the arms down, separate the hands, bring them behind the back, interlace your fingers. You might hinge forward to a flat back. Lift the arms up overhead and breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and put our hands down on the inside of that foot. And you might ease your hips forward and back a little bit. We're going to consider angling the toes on that left foot out. Let's put our hands above that left foot in the center of the mat. Tuck your toes on your right leg. Slide your kneecap back. Come off the kneecap and be resting more on the thigh. Lizard pose. And breathe. Maybe you decide to come down to the forearms. Deeper version of lizard. Maybe you put that left hand on the left knee. Roll that left knee out if you like. You might even choose to lift the left arm up, open through the shoulder, wing dragon. And breathe. And then we're going to put that left hand down. Let's walk both hands back in. Bring both knees back next to each other. Fold over your thighs and let your head rest on your hands. So child's pose is great for calming anxiety. It's excellent for the digestive system. Allow yourself to just relax and breathe here. Now from here, let's slide both arms forward, both palms on the mat, fingers spread wide. Shift your body forward. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, and on the exhale, let's let your hips release down. So take a minute here. Those hip flexors are going to get a nice stretch and across your back as well. And then inhale, lift up, and exhale, ease your hips back with your heels. So we can flow through this a few times if you like. It's up to you. You might hang out in one portion of it or another, depending on how your body feels about it. Now, when we come forward this time, once we've released our hips, let's pause for a moment, bend your elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Stack your forearms, turn your head to one side or the other, crocodile pose. Rock your hips and adjust them until your hip flexors are nice and elongated and close to the mat. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale. That'll help let go of tension across your back and in your hips, as well as encouraging the digestive system. And breathe. Now we're going to come into half frog on the left side. So extend your left arm out away from your shoulder, bend at the elbow in an L shape. Bend your left knee, right arm comes down beside you. We're turning our head toward that left hand. So we're letting our shoulder and our hip release here. This is the tricky part though. You would think it'd be really easy to relax into this, but notice if your body's holding on to some tension. And breathe. And allow your body to relax a little bit more deeply into this pose if you're able. Now inhale, lift your head, look down at the mat, straighten that left leg, bend your right elbow in an L shape, bend your right knee, slide the left hand down beside you, turn your head to the right, and half frog opposite side. Once again, see if you can relax a little bit more deeply. And breathe. Once again, we're going to lift our head up, look at the mat, straighten that right leg, slide your hands back close to your rib cage, press against the mat, come up into a modified cobra. It's a pretty deep stretch. It'll extend all the way down to the knees. Your hip flexors are stretching deeply. And then we're going to take the knees nice and wide this time. Ease your hips back towards your heels. Come down onto your forearms into a child's pose once again. This one, the wide knee version, is going to let go of more low back tension, less compressive in the abdomen. Now from here, we're going to extend those arms all the way out in front. Both palms on the mat, lift your hips. Let's bring those knees in just hip distance apart and then take those hands slightly in front of the shoulders. Tuck your toes on both feet and then press against your toes so you can lift your hips up off the mat. And you might alternate your heels down toward the mat here. And breathe. So this is a good way to encourage upper body strength and to stretch the back of the legs a bit more. Ease your knees down toward the mat. Come back into a child's pose again. Once again, we'll extend those arms out in front. Again, fingers spread wide, hands shoulder distance apart. Lift up your hips. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips up off the mat, your knees, and alternate your heels again. Ease your knees down to the mat. We're going to come around to a seated position. So let's go ahead and keep our right leg centered or in front of us and bring our left leg back. And then place one hand on either side of this knee that's in front. And allow yourself to bend your elbows and lower down toward the mat. It's going to add a lot of compression to your abdomen, your thigh, and your hip. Inhale, lift your head up. So let's take our time as we move through this. Exhale. And inhale. Once again, exhale. And once more on the inhale. Now, once we come up, we're in a mild twist. We want to take it deeper. Bring your hands to the outside of the knee. Walk them back toward the hip. Allow yourself to notice how this feels. You can stay upright or fold over that leg. Come down onto your forearms. Allow yourself to come into a deer pose. Deep twist, deep compression, calming for the nervous system. Breathe. And then walk your hands back in. Place your right hand behind your hip if you like. Press into that hand, lift the hips up, stretch the hip flexors, reach that left arm up and over, and breathe. And then let's lower the hips back down and extend your left leg out. Now, as we do this, with that heel centered, we're going to allow ourselves to lean forward from the center. Walk your hands out in front of you. We're looking for that place where our body resists at any point. Is it in the leg, the back, wherever it might be? It could be in your shoulders. If you meet resistance, give yourself permission to pause. If you've already gone past the point of resistance, ease up a little bit. If you're at that point, give yourself a chance to relax and see if the body will go a little bit further forward. And breathe. Now, when you feel ready, let's walk our hands over to the extended leg. You can put your hands on your thigh, maybe slide them toward the ankle if you like. And breathe. Walk your hands back in. You can bring this left leg in front of the right, easy seated. Maybe foot on knee, knee on foot for square, or possibly opt for shoelace, knee on top of knee. So they're all good options, or also you can just sit in an easy cross-legged position. Extend your arms out. Right arm over the left. Give yourself a big hug here. Notice how this feels. And breathe. Stay upright, or you might decide to come forward with this, folding over the knees, letting your arms rest on the knees if you like. It's going to deepen the stretch in shoulders and hips, add compression to your abdomen. Forward folds are calming. Excuse me. Just notice how this feels. Now inhale, we're going to allow ourselves to come back up. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them all the way out. Notice how that feels. Nice stretch across the chest and upper back. Let's bring our hands down beside us. Sit nice and tall so that you have a little space between the palms of your hand and the mat. Elongate the neck, let the shoulders drop down. The hands might release to the floor at this point. So this is a good stretch across the chest. It's nice and gentle. You're in a more neutral position here. If you want a deeper stretch across the chest, turn your fingers toward the back of the mat. Take them back slightly behind the hips. This is going to be a lot more heart opening, which can aggravate anxiety. So notice if it does do that for you. Let your shoulders drop down. Now we might go ahead and lower our chin toward our chest. As the chin comes down, notice how it feels in the back of the neck, the shoulders, maybe across the base of the skull. So it's a good stretch, but we might decide to take this into some neck circles. So if you choose to, turn your head to the right, look out over the right shoulder. Lift your chin up from the shoulder, bring your head to center, turn to the left, lower the chin down, and back to center. Maybe a couple of circles like that. Take your time as you move through this. You don't always have to move at the same pace as being suggested to you. The main thing is to remember to notice how it feels in your body and modify wherever you need to. Inhale and exhale. Now once your head comes back to center, let's pause. Lift your head up, release your shoulders. Let's do this again on the other side. Left leg forward, right leg back. Place one hand on either side of this knee. And when you're ready, allow yourself to bend your elbows, lower down toward the floor. Take your time and notice. And then inhale, lifting up through the crown of the head. Let's do this a couple more times. Again, use your arms as much or as little as you like. Inhale, lifting up. One more time. Exhale. And once more on the inhale. And then we decide do we want to twist a little deeper or a lot deeper. Once you find the twist that feels right for you, decide if you'd like to stay upright in the twist or fold over the leg. Come down onto your forearms in deer pose. Bring hands back in. Left hand can come behind your hip. You can lean back into the hand, but maybe you decide you'd rather press into the hand, lift your hips up, reach the right arm up and over, stretching through the front of the body. And then let's lower back down. Let's extend the right leg out. Keep the left leg centered. Place your hands in front of the ankle. And then walk your hands out in front. Again, we're going to notice at some point where our body starts to resist. Give yourself permission to pause. Notice Decide where you want to go with this. If it feels like you're at the edge of what feels comfortable, stay there or back off a little. Or you might decide you want to go a bit further forward. From here, let's walk our hands over to the extended leg. Fold over that leg and notice how it feels to you. And breathe. And we're going to walk those hands back in. Bring our right leg in front of the left. Decide to put the foot on the knee, knee on the foot, or opt for shoelace if you choose. Once we decide on the leg position, extend arms out, left arm over the right. Give yourself another big hug here. And breathe. We can stay upright, or we might decide to fold forward to the degree that suits you. Allow yourself to notice how this feels, not only across the chest, but in the upper back, the abdomen, the glutes and low back, and breathe. Now inhale, we're going to come back up, and on the exhale, unwind the arms, extend them all the way out. Let's bring your hands down beside you, sit nice and tall. Press the palms down toward the floor so that your neck and shoulders release a lot of tension here. Possibly turn your hands toward the back of the mat. Notice how this feels and breathe. Heart opening at this point. We decide if this feels comfortable to us. We might decide to drop the chin a bit toward the chest, and as you do, it will stretch the back of the neck as well as calm the nervous system. We can just stay here, or we might decide to make 3 more neck circles, but in the opposite direction. So turn your head to the left, lift the chin up from there, bring your head to center, turn to the right, and then lower the chin back down to the center of the chest. And let's do this a couple more times. Take your time, move at your own pace. There's no rush. Don't force it. Now, as we're moving through this final circle, allow yourself to continue to maintain that openness and spaciousness in the body. And when we do come back to center, let's pause, release the shoulders, lift the head up. Let's consider bringing the soles of the feet together, knees drop open. External rotation, notice how this feels as you open the knees out. If the knees are way up here, maybe you decide to move the feet further from you or even separate them somewhat. Now, if they come in pretty close, you can explore bringing them a bit closer, possibly rocking a little side to side as well. Now, when we get into a position where it feels like just right for us, and again, we can make further adjustments. This is going to land primarily in the hip joints and the connective tissue. Allow yourself to possibly wrap your hands around your ankles and sit tall. So the main goal is to let the muscles stretch, but also let the connective tissue stress in the hip joints. So when you come into this, you might feel that to a degree. Maybe it's just a mild stretch and very minimal release of tension in the connective tissue of the hips. Stay here or hinge forward from your hips. Now you might start to feel this in the glutes or in the groin area. Again, there's connective tissue in those areas. Notice how this feels. Not the glutes themselves, obviously, but in the back of the hip joint too. Now, you can walk your hands out in front. Notice when you get to a point where your body resists. Again, we don't want to push past that resistance. We want to allow our body to relax and let go of the tension when it's ready. And then we're going to walk those hands back in. Now, some people do like to bounce their knees in this, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is going to be muscles stretching here. But if you need to get deeper into the hip joints to release the tension, just gently press your knees toward the floor, but with the knees themselves. Because if I press down here, then I'm actually stretching muscles and I'm trying to force the hips open. Whereas if we just press the knees down and sit tall, you're going to feel it opening more in the hip joints and more easily. Now, let's come back to center. Let's take our legs wide in a nice seated wide-legged stretch. Now, here's the thing. Allow yourself to find the amount of stretch that feels right for you, not to the point of excess, but where it just feels comfortable. And our legs are extended without fully engaging the legs at this point. Now, notice if you draw your toes towards you, how much more the back of the legs get activated. Maybe we point the toes and stretch the tops of the feet, the ankles a little bit, your shins. You can point and flex for a few times here, which is going to be a nice stretch as well. You might decide to circle your ankles a few times. This will actually work the muscles in your feet, help with mobility in your ankles as well. Now from here, let's come into this wide-legged position with the feet partially engaged, not to the maximum. And then we're going to lean forward from our hip joints again. Put your hands down in front, walk them out in front of you, or slide them down toward the ankles. Allow yourself to find the stretch that feels just right to you. If you walk the hands out and your body's a little bit tense or resisting, again, allow your body to relax a little bit more fully and breathe. And then we'll walk those hands back in. Let's bring both legs out in front of us, seated staff pose. From this perspective, you'll be able to see the twist a little bit more. You know, if you take your legs out in front of you, you do want to bring your attention to the base of your body. Pull your energy out from there. Try to bring it towards your solar plexus. You might draw those toes towards you. Hands rest on your thighs. Notice how that feels. And breathe. Seated staff pose, again, is excellent for core strength from above your knees to your rib cage is where your core exists. And by allowing yourself to fully engage your body, sit tall like this, you are activating your core. Doesn't seem like core work. Sometimes we think about those top level muscles on our abdomen. That's not your core per se. Strong outward abdominal muscles may or may not help support you keeping your body in an upright position. So this is going to be a good practice. Pull your energy up, draw your toes towards you, activate your legs, and be able to still breathe. And then allow yourself to relax a little bit before we move into the twist. So now we come back into this upright position. Draw your right knee in towards you. Keep it on the inside or let it cross over to the outside of that left leg. Let your left hand rest on top of your right knee. Sit tall. Put your right hand behind you. Now you can turn toward that right shoulder, which is going to twist your torso. Hand resting on your knee. See how that feels. Maybe you decide to pull the knee in toward the center. That's going to stretch your IT band. And notice how that feels to you. And breathe. You could consider wrapping your elbow around the knee, which is going to add more compression into the torso and the twist. See how that feels to you. Or put your elbow on top of the knee. Press into the knee, which will allow you to twist a little more deeply. So see how that one feels. That extended leg, you can draw the toes towards you to activate that leg more fully too. And breathe. Now inhale, let's come back to center. And on the exhale, just twist in the other direction so you can feel that release of any tension you've built up from twisting in the opposite direction. And then come back to center. Re-extend the right leg. Let's bring the left knee in now. Keep it on the inside or cross it over. Keep your right leg straight or bend the knee in towards your hip. Right hand comes on top of the left knee. Sit nice and tall. Look towards your left shoulder. Hand can come behind you. Pull the knee in close to you. Wrap your elbow around it or let it rest on top of the knee. So again, lots of choices. Pick the one that works best for you. And sometimes people want to know, well, which one's the best? The best is the one that feels best to you. And breathe. Now let's come back to center. Bring your left hand to your right ankle. Sit tall. Again, a nice deep twist in the opposite direction. And then we're going to come back to center. Now from here, let's go ahead and come onto our back for supine positions. Place your feet on the mat. Let the feet be hip distance apart or possibly wider. depending on how that feels to you. Lift your head up, let your neck elongate and relax, adjust your shoulders, your mid-back, let your hands rest on your body or away from your body. Let your knees sway side to side a bit and breathe. Now, as you move your knees from side to side, notice how this feels across your back. It's a nice, gentle, low back massage. Notice the outer edges of your hips, but also notice your knees and ankles. So they're all involved in this movement. And breathe. And then after you finish this on both sides this time, we're going to come back to center. Turn your toes in toward each other. Let your knees rest against each other in the center. Passive internal rotation of your thighs, targeting across your low back, the outer edges of your hips, your knee joints and ankle joints here. And just breathe. And then from here, let's walk your feet in a bit closer together. Ankles and knees touch. Let the soles of the feet come together. Let the knees drop open. Passive external rotation of your thighs. It's going to land in the hip joints. Notice that the muscles will stretch somewhat, but the real focus is going to be in the connective tissue. Now inhale, we'll bring both knees back to center. And on the exhale, let both knees shift to the right. Extend your left arm out, look toward the left hand, twisting the spine from the base of the skull to the tailbone. And breathe. Now inhale, let's let those knees come back to center. And on the exhale, let your knees shift to the left. Extend your right arm out, look towards your right hand this time. And once again, give yourself permission to relax and breathe. Now inhale, let's bring our knees back to center. We're going to lift our feet up off the floor, place your hands on your knees. You can rock a little bit across your low back. So just a way to let go of some low back tension. Now decide if you want to bring those knees in closer to your body. That's going to add a lot of compression to your abdomen. You can move the knees out. You can go halfway with this or all the way, bring them in. Wrap your hands around your shins if you choose. And breathe and relax. Now let's come back to center. We might go ahead and slide our hands right behind our kneecaps. You can consider extending the legs up toward the ceiling partially or fully. Keep your hands here for support and take them away. Now from here, with the legs up in the air, this can be a very passive pose. You have to use the engagement of the muscles to lift the legs up, but you could use a wall. So it can be a very restorative pose. Allow yourself to notice what it feels like. Point and flex your feet if you like for a little bit more of a stretch. And breathe. You can circle your ankles, moving the ankles in one direction and then back in the other direction. Now, allow yourself to flex the feet, press up through the soles of the feet. Notice how that feels. And then you're going to bend the left knee and put the left foot down. Now, point your toes on your right leg and let's lower that right leg down toward the floor. At any point in time, if it feels like you're straining in your back, your hip, your leg, give yourself permission to bend the knee, relax the leg, and draw it in closer to you if you need to. But if you're keeping it straight all the way, stop about an inch or so off the floor. Toes are pointing. Now flex the foot and let's lift that leg back up overhead, nice and slow with engagement of the muscles. Now when that right leg comes back up overhead with your foot flexed, let's take this right leg out to the right side of the body. You can hold on to the big toe for stability if you like, or you can just take this on its own power. We don't want to rush. We don't want to strain the muscles. As you open that leg out to the side, notice how it feels in your inner thigh, your hip, the back of the leg. So when you've taken that leg all the way out to the side, let's notice how that feels. Maybe turn your toes down toward the floor and breathe. Now from here, we're going to bring this leg back up overhead. Take your time. Foot flexed, full engagement of the muscles as they come up overhead. And then allow the leg to cross over the center point. Notice the right IT band is getting a nice stretch. And breathe. Let's come back to center with that right leg. Bring your right foot on top of the left knee. Supine pigeon, gentle hip opening stretch here. Allow yourself to notice how that feels. Now you might bring this left knee in towards your chest. That's going to stretch your right hip a bit more, your knee. Maybe you decide to extend the left leg up toward the ceiling, interlace your fingers behind the back of that knee, or possibly even reach for that left big toe with your right hand. And breathe. Now we are going to rebend that left knee, set the foot down. You might slide this right foot down into the left hip crease. As you do this, your leg's in a supine half lotus. So allow yourself to open that knee out if you need a little more flexibility in the knee joint and the hip joint. And breathe. Now let's come back to center here. Bring your right knee in on top of the left knee or left leg. This is an internal rotation of your thighs. It's targeting your outer right thigh. You can stay with this or let the knees drop to the left. Extend your right arm out. Look towards your right hand and allow yourself to notice how this feels. And breathe. Now we're going to inhale, bring your knees back to center. And on the exhale, let's uncross the knees. Now from here, let's draw the left knee in toward us. It's going to add a little compression on the left side of the abdomen. And breathe. You could take your hands and interlace them behind the back of that knee. You can extend that left leg up toward the ceiling partially or fully. You might decide to point and flex that foot, stretching through the back of the leg, as well as the top of the foot and the shin from here. And notice how that feels. Maybe you decide to circle that ankle a few times. Maybe back in the other direction. Now with that foot with the foot pointed, you can point the toes, you can begin to lower that leg down toward the floor. Notice how that feels to you. Breathe. Stopping just about an inch off the floor with that foot flexed. Bring that leg back up overhead. Now with the foot flex, you can bring it across the center point and notice your IT band on the left leg. And breathe. Now bring the leg back to center and allow yourself to open this left leg out to the left side as you lower it toward the floor. Again, hand can be underneath the leg for more support. You don't want to strain your muscles with this. You do want to engage them though. And breathe. Now we'll bring that leg back up overhead to the center point. And then from here, you might bend that knee, place the left foot on top of the right thigh. And again, you're in a supine pigeon here. Give yourself permission to notice how that feels. You might bring the right knee into the chest. Wrap your hand around that right shin. You're going to feel a lot deeper stretch in that left hip and thigh. And breathe. Now from here, let's set the right foot down. And then allow yourself to slide the left foot down into the right hip crease. Again, supine half lotus. We want to make sure we protect the ankle that's resting on top of the thigh. You could bring the right knee in towards your chest. You can wrap your hand around that shin or extend that right leg all the way up, possibly reach for your right big toe. And breathe. Bend the right knee, set the right foot down. Slide the left knee over on top of the right knee. This is an internal rotation of your thighs, definitely targeting that left hip. Stay here or let the knees drop to the right. Extend your left arm out. Turn and look at your left outstretched hand. And breathe. Now inhale, bring the knees back to center. And on the exhale, let's uncross the knees. From here, you might go ahead and put your ankles and knees next to each other and then let the soles of the feet come together as you let your knees drop open. As you do this, it's targeting the inner groin area. This is definitely a place that needs to be stressed, not stretched. So when you come into this, I want you to notice the sensation you're experiencing there. You may or may not have felt the connective tissue in your body stressing. It's a distinctive feeling. It's not at all like muscle stretching. It can feel very resistant and possibly unpleasant. Never endure torture in this class as far as what feels uncomfortable to you. If you notice that, you can always say no. But notice as the knees are drawn down toward the floor, and especially if you can relax your muscles, the tension is going to release a lot quicker. Now, let's go ahead and bring those knees back to center. Lift the feet up off the floor and allow yourself to take your knees wide. Slide your hands to your ankles if you like. So this is going to stretch the inner thighs pretty well. Interlace your fingers, wrap them around the feet, press your knees open. Supine butterfly. Very focused in the inner thigh stretch. Allow yourself to notice if you need more or less. And breathe. You could reach for the edges of the feet. Lift the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling. Happy baby. As you reach for the edges of the feet, you're going to feel a significant stretch in your hips, your knees, possibly across your back. You might decide to rock from side to side here from knee to knee. Take your time and notice how that feels. And breathe. Now come back to center, bring the soles of the feet together, bring the knees together. We're going to go ahead and slide the feet down toward the end of the mat. Reach your arms overhead, stretch out from your fingertips to your toes. Take the time and really notice how this feels. Back of the legs stretching, shins and calves stretching. Allow yourself to shake your legs out if you need to. And breathe. At this point, allow yourself to bring those hands down beside your hips, palms up, Shavasana pose. It's a pose focusing on letting go of doing and allowing yourself to simply be. That, in a very concise way to describe it, is the point of yoga. Just being exactly as you are. Allow yourself to notice what you're experiencing. We can always make choices to change something or try something different, but eventually we're going to have to agree that the amount of effort we're putting into something is what we need it to be. Some days you're going to need to put in more effort and feel your body moving more intensely, but other days you're going to need to be a bit more gentle with yourself. So coming into this final relaxation, find the comfortable position that suits your body best. With your palms resting upward, allow yourself to start to notice your breathing. Shavasana pose is exactly this, feet out to the sides, palms up, lying in a comfortable position on the floor, or it could be, if you're outdoors, on a mat in the grass. Allow yourself to just notice your breathing. As you're breathing, notice the rhythm of your breath, the depth, the pace of the breath. Observe your breathing as it is, rather than trying to, in a very focused way, try to adjust your breathing. Instead, allow your breathing to adjust to its own natural rhythm, gently, without force. Allow yourself to begin to notice areas of the body that have any physical tension. Bring your awareness into the tops of the shoulders. Notice any tension that's lingering there. Allow yourself to let the muscles around the collarbones, the tops of the shoulders, and the upper back, let them relax and release some of the tension you're holding on to. And breathe. If you feel you're sitting up in a rigid way, or it feels like it's taking too much effort to sit in such a way, you can adjust into that supine position. Allow yourself to notice what feels best for you. Allow yourself to notice anywhere else you might be holding on to tension. It can be in your jaws. It can be in the shoulders themselves, the back of the neck. Maybe it's in the chest, the solar plexus, or the abdomen. Allow yourself to explore and notice where you're holding the most tension. Give yourself permission to relax and let go of it when you feel ready. And breathe. So we're noticing our breathing, our physical sensations. Allow yourself to notice any emotions that you're aware of at this time. Maybe it's an emotion you've been dealing with all day or all week, or maybe it's a random emotion that you're experiencing at this time that's popped up, trying to call for your attention. Allow yourself to observe the emotions that are present. Let go of trying to fix or change them at this time. Remembering that emotions aren't good or bad, right or wrong. Whatever emotion arises for you, welcome it, allow it to be there. You can be curious about it. But again, let go of trying to fix it or change it. Allow yourself to notice your thoughts. Again, one of the most prominent distractions can be our thoughts. Allow yourself to notice the thought that arises for you, or thoughts. Maybe it's a few distinct thoughts that come to you each day or each time that you come into a practice like this. Allow yourself to observe the thoughts that come and go, keeping in mind that your brain is a processor of information and it creates thoughts based on everything you ever see, hear, or experience. So give yourself permission to notice. Notice those thoughts that arise. And rather than trying to fix them or change them or push them off to one side or draw them in close to you, allow yourself to observe the thoughts that you experience, but without judgment, without needing to fix or change anything. Allow yourself to also notice ideas and beliefs. A lot of times they come hand in hand with our thoughts. So allow yourself to notice whatever it is you're aware of at this point. Notice the things that are calling your attention. Notice your immediate response to those things, but also notice the things that arise for you as you're sitting with them for a while. Notice if you feel like you need to fix or change something right away, or maybe can you just be with whatever it is you're dealing with at this time. Just allow yourself to breathe and just be at this time. Notice the things that come and go for you, the things that linger. And as you're noticing all these things, allow yourself to notice whether there's a sense of joy that might be available to you somewhere. Again, joy is separate and apart from all these other things, and joy doesn't come with conditions, although sometimes we feel like it might. But allow yourself to tap into, deepen into a sense of joy that might be present in your awareness at this time. Allow yourself to notice all these things at the same time. Whatever comes up for you, and it might be a physical sensation one moment, it might be an awareness of joy the next. Take your time and notice what you experience, why and where, and breathe. Allow yourself to take a moment and reflect on the fact that you're enough exactly as you are. You don't have to fix or change a thing to be enough. In fact, you've always been enough and you always will be enough. So just for now, just breathe and just be. Now, when it does feel right to you, allow yourself to move again. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, allow yourself to stretch if necessary. Take your time and slowly and gradually make your way back to a more wide awake state of consciousness. You can work your way back up to a comfortable upright seated posture if you choose, or stay relaxed in a reclining position if you'd rather. Allow yourself to come to a comfortable upright seated position. Use your favorite mudra and allow yourself to reflect on your practice. Notice what you liked, what you didn't like, what was easy, challenging, frustrating. As you settle into a comfortable position, I want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me tonight. I honor the place in you, which is the love of truth, of light, and of peace. From my heart to yours, namaste.